Hi, welcome again. In this video, we will see how to work with the nested if conditions and the nested if else conditionals. So here we can see the nested if conditionals. If we use one if condition in another if condition, then this type of conditionals is known as nested if conditionals. So this is the flowchart for nested if conditionals, and this is the flow diagram, programming flow diagram of the nested if conditionals. So in the programming flow diagram, you can see if condition 2 is used inside the if condition 1 and the if condition 3 is used inside the if condition 2. So if you look at the flowchart, you can see here condition 2 is used inside the condition 1 and the condition 3 is used inside the condition 2. The statement of the condition 3 becomes true only if the statement in condition 2 is true and the statement in condition 1 is true. Otherwise, no. Similarly, the condition in if statement 2 becomes true only if the condition in if statement 1 becomes true. In other words, the third if statement body will execute only if the first and second if statements conditions becomes true. So this type of conditionals is known as the nested conditionals. The innermost conditionals become true only if the conditions above the innermost conditions becomes true. Means the innermost conditionals depend on the outermost conditionals. For conditional 3, condition 2 is the outermost or outer conditional and condition 1 is the outermost condition. So in this programming flow diagram, condition 3 will be activated or the conditional 3 statement becomes true only if the condition in the second if statement becomes true. So this is the condition block 2, and here you can see the conditional block 1. So now you can see the conditional if conditional 1 consists of if condition 2 and if condition 3. So in this programming flow diagram, the if condition 1 is the outermost black, whereas the if condition 3 is the innermost nested conditional black. The innermost nested conditional block will be executed or will be checked only if the conditions above the innermost conditionals becomes true. So in this case, if condition 2 and the if condition 1. This is how the nested if conditional works. And here we can see the nested if else conditionals. This is the flowchart and this is the program flow diagram of the nested if else conditionals. So in the program flow diagram you can see one if else condition is used inside the another if else condition. So here if else condition 2 is used inside the if else condition 1. If else condition 2 becomes activated or becomes true or will be executed only if the conditional or the statement in the first if conditional becomes true. Irrespective of the else part of the first if condition, the conditional statement of the first if else block should becomes true, not the else part. The if part of the first if conditional statement should becomes true, means this one. Only if this condition is true, then if condition true will be evaluated. After that the body of the if condition 2 will be evaluated. Since the if condition 2 is the body of the if condition 1, so we know that the body of the if part will be executed only if the condition becomes true. So here in simple we can say that if condition 2 will be evaluated only if the condition of the first if statement becomes true, right? If this condition of the first if statement becomes false, then else part of the first if condition 1 will be executed. So in this case it is this one. So we can insert another if else conditional inside the body of the second if condition, not the if else. We should not place here, we are not placing the if else condition after the else part, we are placing the if else condition only after the if condition. Okay, so here we can place another if else condition, means third if else condition inside the body of the second if condition, not after the else part but within the if part of the second if else conditional. Okay, so here it is the place. Okay, if we look at the flow chart, the nested test expression, means the second test expression will be evaluated only if the test expression of the first if else conditional becomes true. And so here this nested test expression becomes true, or it will be evaluated only if the test expression of the first if else conditional becomes true. And again, the body of the second or the nested test expression will be executed only if the test expression becomes true. After that, after the body of the nested test expression, after the body of the nested if conditional is evaluated, the control flow will move to the statement which is just below the first if else conditional, means just below the first if statement. So here you can see the body of the first if condition. Okay, so this is the body of the first if condition, body of if block 1. So here is the body of if block 1. If the nested test expression becomes false, then the body of the else part, nested else part, will be evaluated. Okay, the body of the nested else part will be evaluated, and after evaluating the body of the nested else part, the control flow will move just below the first if condition. Okay, so if you look at this square block which is inside the first if condition, so it is inside the body of the first if condition. So whatever may be, whatever happens here will be inside the first if condition 1 block, means inside the block of the first if condition. And here you can also observe the indentation levels. This line indicates the first indentation level, and this line indicates the second indentation level. Okay, this indicates the first indentation level, and this indicates the second indentation level for the nested if condition 2. Suppose if the first condition of the first nested if else conditional becomes false, then the body of the else part will be executed. First if else conditional body of the else part will be executed. So here is the body of the else block 1. So this will be executed. So this is how the nested if else conditionals work in Python. So let us move on to the practical work. Here I have opened the spider editor, and let us look at the first simple nested if condition. Okay, in the first example, we are checking the number between 0 and 10, whether the number lies between 0 and 10. So get the value of the number using the value variable and using the input function. Okay, so check the number whether it is greater than or equal to 0 using the first if condition. After that, we are using the another if condition inside the first if condition. The first test expression is value which is greater than or equal to 0, and inside that we are using the second test expression with the second if condition. Okay, value less than or equal to 0, 10, sorry, yes, if the value is less than or equal to 10 is the second test expression inside the first test expression, or this second if conditional is placed inside the first if conditional followed by the indentation. So here is the indentation for the body of first if statement, and here you can see double of the indentation for the second if statement. So this is the first indentation for the first if block, and this is the second indentation for the second if block. This print statement will be evaluated only if the condition above this print statement becomes true. Means the condition of the second if statement, the value is lesser than or equal to 10, and this if condition will be evaluated or tested only if the condition of the first if statement becomes true, that is value greater than or equal to 0, and this print statement is neither belongs to the second if statement or neither belongs to the first if statement. It just prints the message that the program code has been done, means the working of this program code has been over. So in order to name that, we are using the word done. So let us run this program. So in Spider also, to run the program we can use F5 from our keyboard. Let us press F5. First time it will ask for the run settings. Okay, so here is the console. You can see here in the right side. Let us enter the number. For example, I would like to enter 5. As 5 is greater than or equal to 0 and 5 is less than 10, so it is in range. This condition becomes true, and also this condition becomes true, hence the print statement has been executed, that is in range. After that, this print statement, which neither belongs to the first if conditional nor belongs to the second if conditional, so this condition will always execute. Okay, so here you can see the variables used in our program, that is 5 for the identifier value or the variable value. We can also check the number between any range, in our case between 0 and 10, only with the help of the single if statement. So here you can see the single if statement, and with the compound Boolean expression. So compound Boolean expression we have seen already. When we use logical and or logical operators along with the Boolean expressions, we then call it as an compound Boolean expression. So here value, if it is greater than or equal to 0, is the one Boolean expression, Boolean conditional expression, and value is less than or equal to 10 is the second Boolean test condition. or the second Boolean expression. And is the logical AND operator. When we use the Boolean expressions along with the logical operators, then the expression becomes compound Boolean expression. So here this expression, the complete compound Boolean expression, becomes true only if the operand, the left hand side and the right hand side of the AND operator becomes true. Only if they become true, means if value is greater than or equal to 0 is true and value is less than or equal to true, if this condition becomes true, then only the AND operator becomes true. So as per our AND logical operator, it becomes true only if the left side expression and the right side expressions become true. If any of the expression, either left side or right side, becomes false, then AND expression will result false. Once this condition becomes false, the body of the if statement will be ignored. Okay, and this print statement will be printed irrespective of whether the if test expression becomes true or false. Let us run this by pressing F5. This time let us enter the number 12, which falls outside the range between 0 to 10. So done. Because this if test condition became false, so the statement which is outside the if block has been executed. Let us run this once again and enter the value between 0 to 10. Say for example 3. Yes, 3 falls between 0 to 10, so it is in range. The test expression becomes true and here the print statement within the if block has been executed. So here we have used the expression, the first expression, test expression, as value greater than or equal to 0, and the second test expression as value less than or equal to 10. Let us check with the 0 and 10. If we use 0, then this first test expression will be checked. Okay, as it is equal to 0, this expression becomes true. When this expression becomes true, the AND operator will not try to evaluate, will not bother about the second test expression. Okay, but it will check, here 0 is equal to 0, hence the first test expression becomes true. The AND operator will try to evaluate the second test expression also, because if the whole compound Boolean expression has to become true, the second test expression should become true also. So here in our case value is less than or equal to 10. So it will check once again whether the value is less than or equal to 0, hence the value is less than 10. This test expression also becomes true. True and true will result true, and the print statement in range will be evaluated. Sometimes we cannot simply simplify a program's logic readily and it would be impossible to rewrite with only one if statement like this in range. So in such cases we must and should use the else part, and else part becomes very useful in such cases. So let us see how it works. Here if you look at the expression or the code, we have used one if else conditional inside the another if else conditional. So this second if else conditional is the innermost if else conditional, and this one, if value is greater than or equal to 0 and else print value is too small, is the first if else conditional. Okay, so you can see the indentation level also here. First if condition and the first else part, second if condition and the second else part, they are maintaining the indentation. Let us get the value from the user and check with the first if part of the if else conditional. So how to read this if part? This is the first if part of the first if else conditional. Okay, so if the value is greater than or equal to 0, then the body of the first if part will be evaluated. So inside the body of the first if part we have introduced the second if else conditional, and this if part is the if part of the second if else conditional. Okay, if value is less than or equal to 10, if the test expression of the second if part becomes true, then the body of the second if part will be evaluated and executed, that is print value it is in range. Here the print and then the value is in range. If the test expression of the first if part becomes, sorry, the test expression of the second if part, this is the second if, okay, if part becomes false, then the body of the second else part will be executed. Means the else part of the second if else conditional will be executed. This is the second if else condition, and if the condition of the if part becomes false, then the body of the else part of the second if else conditional will be evaluated and executed. Here this is value is too large. If the first condition of the first if else conditional becomes false, means the test expression of the if part of the first if else conditional becomes false, then the body of the first if part will not be evaluated. So here in our case the second if else conditional is the body of the first if part, or the body of the if part of the first if else conditional. So please read carefully. Okay, first if else conditional, so this is, and this is the second if else conditional, and this print statement neither belongs to the first if else conditional nor belongs to the second if else conditional, and it will be printed or displayed always. Okay, let us run this code by selecting this part, and after selecting this part you can use this icon, run select current cell, and go to the next one, or you can use this one, run selection or the current line. So let us run the selection by pressing F9. Okay, we can press F9 to run the selection. Let us enter the number, for example 8. So 8 is greater than 0 and less than 10, hence the first test expression of the first if part becomes true, and the test expression of the second if part also becomes true, hence the print statement inside the second if part has been executed, that is value 8 is in range, and the else part will be ignored, and this else part also has been ignored because the first test expression has become true, hence the body of the first if part will be evaluated. Let us run this code again, and this time let us enter negative value, that is -5, and check what happens. Look at here, when the test expression of the first if condition becomes false, the body of this first if statement will not be evaluated, but we have used else part in the first if else conditional, hence if the condition of the first if part becomes false, it moves to the else part of the first if else conditional. So else part consists of the statement value is too small, hence this statement will be executed. So here the value is nothing but the entered value -5 is too small, and this print statement, as we know that it will be evaluated irrespective of whether the entire nested if else conditional becomes true or false. Python provides multi-way conditional statements. So we can use the nested else if ladder as the multi-way conditional statement. So using the if, else if statements. Okay, so means we can use if statement and else if statement, finally else part, to make the else if ladder. We can read this statement elif as else if, and here you can see the program flow of the multi-way conditional statement. If condition 1 becomes true, the body of the if block 1 will be evaluated. If this condition becomes false, then it will move to check the condition of the second if else or else if statement. Okay, if the condition in the second else if becomes true, then the body of else if block will be executed. if the test expression of the first else if block becomes false, then the third condition which is inside the second else if block will be checked. If it is true, then the body of the second else if block, or in general the third block, will be evaluated. And if this condition becomes false, then it will move to check the next else if part. If this condition becomes true, then the body of this else if part will be evaluated. And if the condition becomes false, finally else part will be evaluated. You know that there is no condition inside the else part, so we won't find any condition in front of the else part. So the body of the else part will be evaluated.